don't care what your mother did to you. I don't care if she sold your to an army. You still better respect your mama.
Tokyo Toni is probably one of the best case studies if you want to study a toxic mother.
So I want to come on here and talk about the whole Teriyaki Tina, aka Tokyo Toni situation. So if you guys don't know, this situation with her and Blac Chyna, it's just getting uglier and uglier. And then she posted a recorded message where she recorded her conversation with Blac Chyna. She posted online for everybody to hear, okay?
I'm your mother, and you're absolutely disgusting. Yes, and you're disgusting as a daughter. As a daughter, you're disgusting. You're not going to be successful, Chyna.
So today's video has been requested by you guys for a very long time about toxic mothers, how to deal with it, signs that your mother may be toxic. I am going to do another one right after this for toxic fathers, etc. because this channel is all about healing. Okay, so trigger warning, this may be triggering for a lot of people, especially if you dealt with this, and I definitely want you guys to sound off in the comments and give off your own advice and helpful tips that could help someone who may feel trapped in this situation. We're going to get into all that and more, but first, hey friend, welcome to my channel, Queen Elude Mental Gems. This channel is dedicated to leveling up in all areas of your life. So let us learn together, read together, but most importantly, grow together. Now, without further ado, so what is the point of this video is to know if you dealt with a toxic mother, or if you are a mother watching this, how to not go about your life being a toxic mother to your children. And also, if you've already escaped a toxic mother, recognizing it will start to help heal your inner child and help you to overcome. So that's the whole purpose of this video. Okay, so we must start off with saying that it may be very difficult for a lot of people to even acknowledge that they even have a toxic mother or came from a toxic environment with one or the other parent, when I do the one for toxic father, right? Because as children, we grow up always wanting to see the best in the adults that raise us, and it can be so painful to just acknowledge that, hey, especially if you're a people pleaser, which I'm doing, I got y'all on that video, okay? But a lot of people who are people pleasers came from homes with toxic parents, like toxic mothers and toxic fathers and stuff. And so when you come from those environments, it can take years to even acknowledge that. And some people even go to their graves never even fully acknowledging the toxic environments that they come from, because you feel like acknowledging it means that you don't love your mom or you don't love your dad, right? That's not the case. Acknowledging that, hey, just like if you were in a toxic relationship, you could acknowledge that you love the person that you were in a relationship with, but it was a toxic relationship. You guys didn't mesh. It doesn't mean you love the person less. It's not a sign of disrespect. And I know a lot of times parents, especially toxic parents, love to gaslight their kids and their children, even grown adults, when you try to hold them accountable. They make you feel guilty, like, oh, I was doing the best I can, instead of just like, hey, I understand this is your feelings, this is how you feel, you're hurt, I did the best I could, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Instead of, it's more so of an anger. So that can even make you shut down and not want to further acknowledge it. But then if you don't do that, you will never heal. And there's a lot of trauma that comes with that. The first obvious sign that you have a toxic mother is obviously abuse, whether physical, verbal, abuse, emotional, psychological, just a disregard for your feelings. And physical could be extreme harsh physical punishment, especially if you're from the Caribbean or islands. I don't care if you're Jamaican, Haitian, wherever you're from, I'm Haitian. A lot of mothers, you know, hey, they put the beatings to you, they put the hurtings to you, they believe in strong, you know, punishment and stuff like that. Unfortunately, my mom died when I was young, but I grew up around all my cousins, etc., this and that. Like, you know, your friends also, their stories, like, it's just a norm in Haiti. They'll put salt. There's something called mit à genoux, which means you get on your knees. I still had those punishments, even though my mom was not here. I still suffered those punishments at the hands of your elders.
What's discipline like in a Haitian household?
Oh, à genoux. Get on your knees, you know?
Are you serious?
On your knees, yeah, 45 minutes while your dad watches the soccer game. Leaning back. Yeah, like that. No leaning back. Can't get back on your hips.
Haitians are big disciplinarians. I'm gonna tell y'all what met à genoux means. The literal translation is get on your knees. This is à genoux. And if your parents wanted to sprinkle a little shame in there, then they would probably do it when you had cousins around, arms crossed, facing a wall. You can't do this, you can't lean on the wall, so you could be there for hours.
Where you just, met à genoux, you're on your knees for half the day if you did something bad. Sometimes they'll put salt and you get on your knees on the salt, scab up your knees. They'll hit you with extension cords, shoes, wires, hangers, whatever. You just got whoopings. It was like a norm. When you grow older, you're like, yo, that was actually, yeah, we're thankful for, you know, discipline, but there's a thin line between discipline and abuse. Like if you look at a lot of older people from the Caribbean, and it happens here in America too, you'll see marks on their bodies that look like they were picking cotton. I'm not even exaggerating, okay? Like they were picking cotton. They have like, their flesh was, there's something called iguas used to get whooped with, that's like made with horse skin, etc. It's just terrible punishments. So there's a thin line between whooping, and even now, like in the hood, when I came from Haiti and went to the hood, one way that a lot of hood mothers would discipline their children, and hood, I mean black and white, because there was a lot of white hood people in Florida down south. Y'all know how it is with the Gators. They always talk about Florida. It's a lot of hood white people too. And the way they discipline their children, they'll punch them, cuss at them, like physically fight their children, physically tussling, wrestling with their children, slapping them and stuff. There's a thin line between abuse, okay? You can discipline your child without doing all of that, which is degrading. Don't spare the rod. By any means am I advocating that, but there's a way to do it also. For instance, if you have a toxic mother, if you're a daughter in the house and it was obvious that your mother favored her sons, and you basically had to cater to them, etc. It's so toxic and can create lifelong trauma and drama to your life, to where you even inherit this sense of like, as a woman, your sole purpose is to, you know, cater to men, baby men, like you see them as superior to you and they're always above you, which makes you susceptible to violence from men, to dating the wrong people, to not realizing that you're just as important in a relationship. There's so much that we can get into that, okay? But vice versa, say it's just a whole bunch of girls in the house, but your mom shows visibly who's her favorite and brags about it, talks about it. Those are toxic traits that can give a lot of trauma, to feel like the black sheep, like you weren't wanted and your other siblings were favored above you. Moms who live through their children, their daughters, their sons, it doesn't matter, right? Anything they wanted to do when they were younger, they project that onto you, okay? There's a lot of effeminate men, not saying anything wrong, that's just, you know, let's keep it real here, because their mothers was the one that projected that onto them, to where even down to mannerisms and speech and everything, but they're straight as an arrow. Anything the mom would want to do, like I know a lady, true tea, that always wanted a daughter, has no daughters, nothing but sons, and just kept trying. Her youngest son would put heels, dresses and stuff like that, and she would encourage it because she just wanted a daughter so bad she just like gave up, right? I know that's a touchy subject to get into, but a lot of moms will do that. Like they project that onto them. Or if you're a girl, for instance, your mom always didn't get to do ballet, didn't get to do this, and maybe you're not interested in that. Maybe what you really want to play is basketball, or you want to get into music or band, but your mom's like, nope, you're doing ballet, you're doing modeling, you're doing this, you're going into pageants and stuff like that. Pageant mom, think of that. Or moms that push their kids into Hollywood. Which brings me to the fourth, which is like a narcissistic mom that takes credit for all of their child's accomplishments. Everything that their child did. Oh, it's because of me, I sacrificed this, my body, my this, that, and what. Like anything you get in life, they feel automatically entitled to it just off the basis of being your mom. Everything you are should be accredited to them. Not saying, you know, moms don't sacrifice for us and do their best, etc. That they do deserve some credit, but it's like you never feel autonomous. Like, what's the word? You never feel like, dang, I couldn't have just did this for me. No, you guys know what I'm saying. Next is, of course, a controlling mom who feels like you cannot do anything for yourself. This is especially toxic for boys, like boy moms. A lot of boy moms too like to baby their sons a lot, which creates the mama boy. Like they could be 30, 40, they're still, mom is still doing your laundry, cooking for you, doing stuff. Like you just was babied to a sense where they couldn't lift a finger. They just played video games all day, did whatever. And it was just like, you know, and those moms tend to want to control who their son date. No one is good enough for their sons. I got to meet her first. I got to, like, if I can think of, I know this Chrisean Rock situation with Blueface mother, like she always has something to say. And on the female perspective, I'll use Tokyo Toni. Tokyo Toni is probably one of the best case studies if you want to study a toxic mother.
You got problems. You need to get straight. You need a therapist.
You know what
You need a therapist.
You're nuts.
Something's wrong.
Get out of my face.
Something's wrong. I'm gonna stay in your face. Nothing from you.
I feel bad.
Nothing
I feel
from
bad
you.
for you. You know.
No, don't feel bad for me.
I feel bad.
No,
You should.
You should.
You
No,
just-
because right now you faking.
I know you've been through a lot.
I ain't been.
No.
Only thing I've been
honestly,
through
I'm not
is
faking.
You are
I'm
faking.
not. I wanted to see you. I've been asking for you.
I heard, but this is
I've
the
been-
treatment.
I've been asking
This
for
is
you.
the treatment that you do
I've
the
been-
only person that raised you, and this how the you do me. Watch. Watch it. You. I hate you.
I can think of an example of like control of, you know, whatever her daughter does, every accomplishment, you know, she attached to herself. And then of course, the authority and control. Want to know every aspect of your life. Where are you going? Who you dating to? Like want to be a part of everything. Like they don't let you breathe or hug you. If you're a girl, it's like whoever you're dating to, they're on you. They got things to say. You're schooling. Like they don't let you breathe. They got to hold your hand through everything. It's just an aspect of control. It can be so toxic. Other thing is if you have a toxic mom who blames you for anything that goes wrong in the house, that goes wrong in her life, right? Say your mom is now, say was a single mom, they're in their 60s or 50s, and they're just like, oh, it's because constantly you keep hearing those things. It can be so traumatic on a child. It's because of you. When I was young, I had this body, I had that. Anything wrong, any success that they didn't get in their life, they just attribute to it. Yes, some mothers do sacrifice a lot so that you can have the life you have. But at the end of the day, I'm about to say something that's gonna rub some of y'all feathers wrong. Honey, you as a mom decided to get intimate with somebody, raw dog, unless somebody forced themselves on you, which is not the case for a lot of these moms that talk like this. You were a willing participant and engaging in relations with another man and brought me into this world that I didn't even ask to be here. I didn't have no say so in this. I don't owe you nothing. If your body got messed up from giving birth to me, that's because you chose to give birth to me. You chose to be intimate, to get married, to go down that road. Okay, a lot of moms, even if you didn't want the child, there's consequences of getting intimate. Then don't do that. You can't burden your child throughout the years to make them responsible for your choices. The only way you could say that is if it was with someone forced themselves on you. And if you're going to live a lifelong life of trauma where you're projecting that trauma onto your child to remind them how much you didn't want them here and how this happened, give them up for adoption. Give them a better chance of not having to deal with the trauma if this is a child that you're going to keep. But there's no sense in creating generational trauma from this. Oh, people hate when I say this, but I didn't ask to be here. I'm just here because my parents decided to sleep with each other, and hey, here I am, okay? You can't now, because you hate that decision, you know, project that onto me. No, honey, okay? Everything that ever went bad into their life, every dream deferred, is your responsibility. Anything in the house. Okay, my mom died when I was young, but I had a mother figure that was raising me, and I had a couple, okay? And one of them, I'm not even gonna put out there, but to just be transparent, if this person broke up with a boyfriend or was doing their makeup and it was wrong, it was like, if I was next to this person in a close proximity, I would get a backhand or something like that just because you messed up your makeup or the boyfriend broke up with you or this happened, and you in constant fear, like you don't know, anything that went wrong in their lives. And it took, now there's healthier boundaries, and yes, this person took accountability, etc. It just puts you in a space where you blame yourself for everything. And it created me as this adult that was always apologizing to people, even for stuff that was out of my control. I'm constantly apologizing. This example always stayed in my mind. And I'll tell you guys, I love Dr. Michelle, okay? When I went to do an interview with her in California, the traffic, I underestimated how terrible traffic would be in California. So I left an hour before. The place was like 10 minutes away from our hotel to meet. I left an hour before and I was still late because the traffic was just that bad. And she understood. She was like, "Yeah, I know it's your first time in California. You don't understand this, whatever. It's okay." But I just felt so bad, kept apologizing. And she looked at me, and I won't forget it, where she's just like, "Listen, you don't have to keep apologizing. It wasn't your fault. Like, it's all." But I felt in my soul, because people have always been telling me, you need to stop apologizing for stuff all the time, especially things that are not in your control. That this was someone I was meeting for the first time that didn't know me that well, and I could see that this is something that I obviously struggle with, that she had to take her time. Like, she was like, listen, you don't have to apologize, it's okay. She's such a sweetheart. But from that day forward, I was like, you know what? I need to work on that, because I hear this so much from my friends that love me, that we're all in this healing journey together, that, you know, for someone I'm meeting for the first time physically to automatically see that and repeat it, and it just gave me like a reality check that you need to fix that. But you don't realize how growing up, what leads to that is just constantly being blamed for stuff that happened, even if they don't verbally say it. If you're the type of toxic mom, or there's a toxic mom who just has an attitude in the house, and the way they take care of you is not the same because of whatever's going on in their life, or whoever your mother figure is in the house, if they are constantly moody because of what they got going on with their spouse, what they got going on at work, what they got going, like they come home and bring it home. Just like if you have a dad who comes home drunk because his boss tried him and he's putting out all the wrath on you, if you have a motherly figure doing that too, you tend to try to be on your best behavior. You don't want this, you don't want that, you're apologizing, you're trying to clean everything, make sure everything is spotless, nothing's going on, so you don't have to deal with that person's wrath. And it creates a people-pleasing cycle, and it's so hard to break that. It's so hard to break that. But yeah, next thing, which it happens in a lot of homes and even on social media, which I hate videos when moms blackmail their kids. Like they put them on blast. Oh, take the phone and just, hey, let me tell you what my daughter did. Let me tell you what, she don't wash her. I used to, this is a thing that happens in a Caribbean household too. If they want you to like go shower or something. Oh, I'm gonna tell your little boyfriend you don't shower this. When you're young, you grow up with that shame, like learning you could blackmail people's secrets, hold them, do this, whatever. That is so toxic. Discipline a child by threatening to expose something embarrassing about them, or actually doing it. Or I'm gonna come up to your school in the worst bonnet and the worst this, that, or the third. It's like there's so many other ways. Children are so, like, we've done a lot of books on this channel, The Body Keeps the Score, handling trauma, etc., that you guys can go check out, that there's so many effective ways you can discipline your child and get them to level with you and, you know, respect you, not spare the rod, etc., without traumatizing them. And I think threatening them and blackmailing them is definitely, it goes right hand in hand with that. Next is like a lack of boundaries. Okay, think of Tokyo Toni just recently. Tokyo Toni was out here sending her private parts to Blac Chyna's, you know, boyfriend.
Now, even though she's saying that Blac Chyna is jealous of her, it's looking like it's the other way around. So Tokyo Toni, who is Blac Chyna's mom, was blasted by Blac Chyna's ex-boyfriend for sending him explicit pictures and videos. And he came with some real receipts. Tokyo Toni allegedly DM'd him and said, tell my daughter I booked a plane ticket and coming to her house to beat the ish out of her. This is how she does me after all I did for her. And he responded and said, how you doing, Miss Toni? I ain't got no bad blood with you. Your daughter don't have no bad blood with you. That girl loves you so much and only has the greatest intentions and plans when it comes to you. Maybe it's the lack of communication between y'all that stirs negative assumptions in your head. I would love to get on the phone with you and pray with you and help you escape the picture in your head that you think everybody is against you. And she responded and said the issue is not with you, it's with her. She's always been jealous of me and my natural body that God gave me. Jealousy is a disease. I got her to where she is today. She will be nothing without me. And then she thought it was a good idea to send him several pictures and videos of herself. Now the pictures I had to cover up in the videos, but let me tell you, she didn't have nothing on and she was bent over. It was a mess, and y'all can only imagine what the videos look like. But I feel bad for Blac Chyna, because it's like, with a mama like that, how can you turn out? I think Blac Chyna did the best she can do with raising herself. Man, I could not imagine having a mama like this lady.
Lack of boundaries. Lack of boundaries. If you have a mom, whether you're a son, the mama's voice, your mama just like Blueface mama. Your mama just cannot stay out of your relationships. Blueface mama always got something to say. First to say, lack of boundaries. Be grown and mind your grown business, okay? Stop traumatizing your kids, because look at these people with these type of parents, right? Look at the trauma I told you that came from me, that I had to heal from, and many of you are watching. It can cause so much to have no boundaries yeah, there has to be some form of boundaries. Your mom shouldn't be all up in your business like that. Like, no. When you're a kid, yes, you're under the person's roof, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But there's an age where people just don't grow out of it. You're a grown man. You're a grown man married with kids, and your mom is the one controlling your household. Makes no sense. You're a grown woman with your own husband. A lot of women will bring all their business to their mom about what's going on in their household and allow their mom to make decisions in the household. Or a lot of wives would allow their moms to come into the household and disrespect their spouse, talk to their spouse in any kind of way, say things that they don't want to say and won't check them. They'll do that with siblings, etc. Like, you have to have some form of boundaries with your mom, because that can be such a toxic, oh my goodness, I can't even begin. And the other thing is, especially if you're in the Caribbean, the guilt tripping. If they need you to do something, run errands for, oh, you know, I did this for you. I didn't push you out for this or that. You can drive me out. Just ask. Most kids, like, there's a lot of ungrateful kids out here. I'm about to do one for a toxic child, because a lot of y'all need to know what can make you very toxic. And I feel like, yes, you can have upbringing. There's an age too where you've had some good parents that you can't even relate to half of these that you're watching, and you in college right now, you won't even call your mom to check up on her. She's in her old age, you know, she's probably in the house with her husband. Like, you ignore your mom's calls. You only come to the house to get food in the fridge. You never stock up her fridge for her. Don't give birthday gifts. Don't take her out to lunch. Don't just call to check out. Some of y'all toxic, and y'all had some great parents. Y'all ungrateful, okay? So there is that case also where your parents shouldn't have to resort to guilt tripping you to do favors for them if they were good to you. I'm not talking about that. Now, if you had a good parent that just be like, yo, I just need somebody to drive me. It's a little more difficult for me to drive on Sundays, just run a couple errands. Don't, and then they guilt trip you a little, like, you know, I do all this. Sometimes that's not guilt tripping. You just ungrateful, and I know you tired, but what is it gonna cost you? Because your mom probably was tired a lot of times when she came home from work and stood on her 2 feet to make food for you and this and that. Like, you had a good mom, so you could do that. So don't use that to relate to this. I just want to give a disclaimer. But there are those that are toxic. They never did anything for you. They were absent half your life, or they were moody. So many toxic traits, and then now they guilt trip you into doing things. They guilt trip you into, I know situations where a mom will guilt trip, let's just say a mom guilt trip a child into buying her a whole house that was way beyond her means, way beyond the child's means, just because the child got a little promotion and stuff, instantly guilt her into that. This mom is not like an old age retired type, who's still young, vivacious, can work, and etc. And guilt into that. Now this person is in debt trying to keep up with that. That is crazy to me. This is what I mean by that. Like, guilt tripping you into making decisions that are just not beneficial for you or for them or your mental health.
Car? I bought you cars. Yeah. I paid you rent. Yeah. I gave you money. Are you serious?
You a weirdo. She's like 3 cars, 3 fast, expensive cars, $400,000 to $500,000, and yet my little $40,000 car, which is a Cartier bracelet, sits.
Next is, if your mom spent time gossiping about you and to her friends in front of you, trying to humiliate you, or to your friends, or used to just do humiliating stuff, like, again, don't crucify me, but let's keep it real, right? Because I was watching a podcast, I won't say who, but it's a mom that was defending, going back and forth, saying that, yo, my son don't have no problem with me being on fans only. I'm not gonna say the full word, you know, you too. And and the son is so humiliated. This is a huge fans only star, right? That's why she made the podcast. And the son don't have no social media, don't want no one talking about him, nothing like that. Just disregard, like, you want to have children, but completely disregard how your actions will affect them, embarrass them, or humiliate them. That is traumatizing for a little boy to be thinking people are seeing my mom like that. And that's not shaming anybody or anything like that. But you have to come to terms that, hey, if you're going to do this, put some money aside to get therapy for you and your child. Because there's going to be, I can promise you, 10 years from now, there's going to be a lot of kids talking about how this was humiliating for them, okay? And that's not the only form of humiliation. Like, even reality stars, how many housewives? There's one housewife, which I love. She is one of my peoples on there, but her children don't have no social media. They don't want nothing that was on Real Housewives, nothing to do with Housewives. That her children don't show up on screen. She like, don't talk about me because the kids is a little bit older. Don't talk about me, don't this and that. They're humiliated to see their mom acting in this show, doing this, whatever. So a lot of decisions, if your mom makes decisions that are just embarrassing and humiliating without no regard of how is this going to impact my child, it's kind of like just a selfish take all the time, like just selfishness on how is this only benefiting me as the mom. This is toxic, whether we like it or not, and that's a painful fact to swallow. Like what I mean by that with humiliation, like I went to a hood school. I lived in the hood. A lot of my friends' moms used to be on the street corners selling their bodies, you know, with dope dealers, etc. And a lot of them used to be made fun of at school. I was a kid at school. I saw how they got picked on. You were probably a kid at school. You saw how people got picked on because of their parents' decisions. So I used to see people like, oh, shut up, telling a girl, shut up before I go. It's terrible, but telling a girl, shut up before I can have your mama suck my tonight. This is real clapbacks from high school kids fighting. This is embarrassing humiliation, and this is what I mean by that. So it's in different variations. This is a toxic thing. It can be traumatizing, and if you feel guilty bringing this up to your parents, like I don't want them to think I don't love them or this and that and this and that, like you don't want to admit that this was toxic to you. But the next thing, which is probably really terrible, is a silent treatment. There's whole studies done on how silent treatment affects children, right? What's crazy with that is if you're fighting with your mom, or you probably not even fighting, they just mad at whatever and they don't say nothing to you, you don't talk to them, that is so toxic in a form of abuse. Once you recognize all of this, what do? Number one, always, if you can't afford therapy, here on the screen I'm putting a couple of books that you guys can purchase to read, Audible, whatever. You can, even if you don't even have that to purchase the books, go to a library and get them. They have audiobooks for free on YouTube with many of these books that you can just freely, like you're watching this video, go listen to them on audiobook on YouTube and stuff like that. To start doing the healing process, prayer, God, healing spiritually, like that's gonna help you to open your eyes. Pray, Lord, please open my eyes to all my trauma so that I can start my healing process and help me through it, because I know it's gonna be traumatizing. But you cannot start to heal until you recognize your condition. This is all I have for this video. Comment any more tips that you have. I love you guys so much, and here's to happy healing all 2024. Until next time.